Alright, we're back with some more Higurashi. Just, first note, sorry, I've been pretty, for current watchers who's watching as the episodes release, sorry for, being a bit inconsistent with the schedule. Again, I think maybe I haven't talked about it in this series, but, November and December are really busy times for me, so all the series are kind of jumbled up. We'll try our best to get the episodes out, but no promises. Also, you know, uh sadly Higurashi's a little it is like kind of the bottom of the barrel right now in terms of viewership, so if I'm forced to skip stuff, it probably will be Higurashi. Not that I dislike it. I'm obviously a massive Higurashi fan. Have you not seen the big ass Satoto avatar in the channel? I love Higurashi, but just for viewers. Um, but yeah, we will try our best to get these episodes out because I feel like we're getting pretty close to the end of this arc. But yeah, last time the feudal lords really putting on the pressure on the village, and Ota's considering should she run away and abandon her family. So like this problem disappears after a couple of years. Obviously, that's a lot to ask for. Or is there any other options she can do to stop this pressure for this miracle medicine to happen? But yeah, let's just continue. See what's happening. It's just one thing after another with Uta, man. Sucks. Mao arrived at the Frude house late at night.
悪いね。病人のいるところ、遅くに押しかけてさ。いえ、
Ota,
大丈夫
not
です。
Futa. I don't know why. Futa's the daughter. I mean, stuff happens to Futa too, but man, yeah, Ota's life is rough.
主人も風花も、たった今寝たところですから。さっき、君吉の本家に行ったら、しのさんはこっちだって聞いてね。
The meeting going, or probably Ota called them and maybe to announce her departure?
大岡にも、早いところ知らせておきたかったし、ちょうど
Maybe.
いいかなって。
I don't know. Mao and Ota sat down with those words, followed by Shino, who had been visiting the Fudes to take care of the sick Shoji. I couldn't see their faces well because they were only illuminated by candlelight, but the sound of their voices spoke volumes of the situation.
あまりいい話ではなさそうね。ああ、漁師様から正式にお呼びがかかって、お屋敷に出頭したおじきが、さっき簡単に言えば、鬼の薬はこの国全体の1000倍になることが決まったらしい。
This is right. It's kind of hard to tell, like, am I in the right spot? Just because I have to, like, re-go through my name. But yeah, it has to be. This has to be the last one because there ain't no trunks in feudal Japan. Let me just re-look at this. Yeah. In this region, members of the Sonozaki family had held the position of regional governor for generations, a position that involves supervising the annual tribute and instructing the villagers as per the feudal lord's rule. And after the former governor, Mao's husband, passed away, her uncle on her father's side of the family was serving in that role until her son came of age.
それでは、出来上がった薬を全部お上が買い上げるということですか？
It is starting. We have to take action now.
いや、
If we're gonna do anything.
もっと悪い。
Mao scratched her hair with teeming irritation and clutched her head. Then, just as Shino and Ota were exchanging concerned glances, Mao took a letter out of her pocket and opened it.
それは領主様直々の申し渡し書だ。薬の製作者は鬼の薬の処方箋、
Damn.
つまり薬の原
Really
料と
twisting
調
our
合を
arm
記し
here.
た指南書を提出しろ。え、そんな。
While Ota tilted her head in confusion, Shino groaned with reproach. It seemed Mao felt the same as her, and she just sighed as she shook her head.
お母様、 どういうことですか？提出するものが薬と処方箋とでは
Wait,
何
it's...
かが違ってくるのでしょうか？
Sorry, I need to pause. Did I just not save it? Does this seem similar now? Hold up. Yep, this is literally... I did not save it. That's crazy. Fuck. Here, you wanna... Actually, yep, that's crazy. I don't know what to say. That's my bad. Sorry, boys. That's probably annoying for you. Good thing I recognized it. I know I was questioning when I was reading it at first. Actually, we can skip, can we not? Here we go.
私は無理だ。少しどうして？本当よかった。よりそのい。
Okay,
ますか？
just calm down. I think we're almost there.
わかっている。それあなたのこのでも。そうか。死のも死のだ。何のための母？王か。この村をもう。あなたがこの村逆。私分かっています。今までにもですが、ごめんなあなたの言うことでもだから。ありがとう。
Very fun. Alright. Wait! It was... What the fuck? Okay. I'm actually dumb. I thought that said trunk, not a trunk. I'm trolling. Okay, that's actually pretty funny. Alright, well, that was a fun waste of time. How are you guys doing today? Sorry for wasting 7 minutes of your time here. Let's actually start the episode, I guess. I exited the swamp and picked up a trunk sitting on the banks. After looking inside to confirm it was full of the completed medicine, I closed the lid and lifted the trunk with both hands. We're leaving, huh? It was fairly heavy, but not enough that I couldn't carry it. Since I couldn't shift into my astral form while carrying a physical object, I took the deserted animal trail back to the Furude shrine. I had a bad feeling. I'd actually happened to come across Shino and Mao yesterday on my way to the swamp. Oh, I'm guessing in astral form. Didn't actually see her. Mao was accompanied by several young subordinates and had called for a palanquin, as if she were planning to go far away. Then she walked away from the others and met Shino in the front of the gate. They seemed to be talking about something. It was odd to see this pairing even though I knew they made up, so I quietly approached them in my astral form. And when I did...
それじゃあマウさん、そちらはよろしく頼むわね。ああ、おじきには漁師様に薬の話をしばらく待ってくれって説得してくれるよう頭下げてみるよ。専売とか処方箋とかの話なら私たちも飲むことができたのだけどね。例の話だけは絶対に承知するわけにはいかないから。だよな。例の話。
Ooh, they left something out in the meeting? Their faces were oddly serious and resolute, so my heart leapt when I saw that. What were they talking about? Was there more to this story than what I'd heard from Oka?
にしても冗談じゃないよ。相手の国が疫病で苦しんでいるところにつけ込んで鬼の薬を取引材料に使おうなんてさ。大岡が聞いたらそっとして倒れちまうよ。そうね。人を救うのならともかく相手を脅して言うことを聞かせる手伝いなんて。
It's an all-powerful medicine. It's a great chip to use against people.
まして戦の道具になんて冗談じゃない。
I stood still in shock and desperately fought down the fury. that threatened to erupt from me. According to Shino and Mao, the feudal lord was thinking of using the provision of the medicine as a strategic tool against a neighboring country he was fighting with over territory. That country was having just as much trouble with this disease as this one, so if it could be used as an effective solution for that, politicians would jump right at it. But to work their own inhuman greed into that, how terrible. How could this feudal lord conceive such a cruel and vile plan?
納得させられるかは微妙だけどね。それで、おしのさんは万一に備えて隣の村に掛け合ってみようと思うの。あそこの倉庫には疫病が再発した時のための予備が残してあったから。少なくとも王家の耳には今回の話は入れたくない。私たちで何とか対処しましょう。ああ、そっちはよろしく。それじゃ。
The two of them nodded at each other, and Mao got in the palanquin while Shino resumed her stroll. As I watched that, my belief that Ota shouldn't stay in this village grew stronger and stronger.
やはりもう一度王家を説得しよう。
She didn't belong in such an ugly and filthy world. I couldn't hesitate anymore, even if it meant getting a little pushy, for I was sure that she'd be happier if I took her out of the village. Bold assumption. I kept parting through the thickets and bushes as I made my way down the mountain, completely forgetting to even rest. I unknowingly picked up the pace. My anxiety kept welling up when I was alone, and I could no longer bear it. Funny, it didn't feel like it'd been that long since I left the swamp. So why? Well, whatever. I'm sure this gloom would all go away once I saw Oka's face. Oka would surely be thrilled once I brought her the medicine, and if I told her what Shino and Mao had discussed yesterday, it'd likely strengthen her resolve to leave the village. Then I'd feel better. I'd surely be saved. So please. But when I got to the shrine where Ota lived, oh shit. I saw villagers with wide bloodshot eyes, each carrying their own weapons. They were surrounding someone, their hands bound with straw rope. Dangling from the highest tree in the area. Oh, was Ota covered in wounds? What the fuck happened? I was so stunned that I completely forgot that I dropped the trunk. What was going on? What in the world happened? What the fuck? The villagers gave vulgar smiles as they looked up at Ota with interest, as though she was one of the bandits who'd been put on display the other day. Many of them whose had barely escaped death thanks to my medicine. No, nearly all of them were. There. Ota was hanging from a tree. Her pure white mito robes were stained redder and blacker than her shirt. The sleeves I'd teased for being a little too big for her had been torn cruelly, perhaps remnants of some severe punishment, exposing her white skin. Her dark hair, which I'd praised many times for looking beautiful when the sun shined on it, had lost its luster and was disheveled. Her cute face, white as porcelain, was black and blue all over, a shadow of its former self. When I looked to see how the villagers saw her, I felt violent shivers run down my spine. Their eyes had held the bloodlust of ferocious carnivores, and were glazed over with a disgusting curiosity and avarice. These were the villagers Ota had so earnestly tried to help?
Miko-sama, どうですか? 答える気になりましたか?
Ota just groaned. That was all the more painful to look at. Even so, the man next to her paid that no heed and lifted her chin with the timber he held.
意外にしぶといよな。
いいのか。これだけ攻めたらかえって口を聞かなくなるんじゃないか。
大丈夫だろう。旦那は
Whoa!
まだ娘は生きてるしな。
What the
終わ
fuck?
ったところで連れ出せばさすがに黙ってられないさ。
This is definitely the definition of escalating quickly. What the fuck happened while Hani was gone?
確かに息さえしてれば。
Damn, they beat Futa? What the fuck's wrong with these guys? It's crazy. What?
あなたたちまさか。
ああ、別に殺したわけじゃありませんよ。今でもみ合っていたら勝手に血を吐いてくたばっちまっただけなんですから。ま、娘さんは
If Hani doesn't kill these guys, I'd be very
あ
surprised.
んまりピーピー泣いてうるさいんで蹴飛ばしてやったら動かなくなっちゃいましたけどね。
そんな。
Ota's eyes widened and shot as she shivered, forgetting to even sob. Those inhuman scum. How dare they? How dare they?
本当に大丈夫なのかよ。仮にもお社様の巫女にこんなことして。
いいんだよ。こいつらは鬼に魂を売った奴らなんだから。むしろ俺たちは鬼退治をした正義の死。
Okay, so these guys aren't from Hinamizawa? Demon Slaying. They call this Demon Slaying? I see. These people are that set that came to Anidafuchi recently. Yeah, they don't talk like Hinamizawans. I was concerned with the odd way they were looking at Ota and the others when I saw them that other day, but they don't know the terror of demons. That was why they attacked the Frude family, a supposedly taboo act that would invoke divine wrath, and did this to Ota.
それよりも本当にあるんだろうな、お宝。殿様も軍勢を構えてきた以上、一点何も見つかりませんでしただと、俺たちの命が危ないぞ。
ああ、平気平気。巫女さんの後をつけてちゃんと確かめてきたからな。どうやらあのお社様の泉、鬼ヶ淵に秘密があるみたいだぜ。ま、それでなくともこの前の薬があればまた大儲けできるって。しかしこの巫女さんも人がいいよな。ちょっと調子悪いふりしてたら薬をタダでくれるんだもの。それを隣村の病人に高値で売りつけてこちとら大助かりってか。
今こいつらなんて。
ま、当てが外れた分稼がせてもらわない。
I already see how this plays out. Hanyu kills them, and then to like bring peace to the village, she's gonna let Ota kill her later to kill the demon, and that's how what happened, what was described in the main arts plays out, probably.
みこしおだててだと。
バカみたいにみんな仲良くなんて繰り返して、まあご立派なお考えだことで。もっとも俺たちは他の連中がどうなろうと知ったこっちゃないがね。
そうだそうだ、あいつらとは俺たちは違うんだ。なぜ俺たちには。
Bye bye.
鬼が
Oh,
味方してるんだからな。
誰が味方だと。こんな奴らのこんな猛前で臆病で下劣で恥知らずで傲慢で嘘つきで野蛮で最低な醜い汚い儚いゴミ生物のために私は
true.
私と王家
Yep.
おい、どうした。
He suddenly stopped moving and opened his mouth on the spot. And the moment his shoulder was tapped, roll. Something like a stone mass fell to the ground with an oddly dull sound and rolled at his feet. Well, this is gonna make people, at least the villagers, believe in. Well, actually, I don't know. What I just said was the opposite, but yeah, never mind. The other man looked down to see what it was and found a human face. And then dark red blood spurted out like a small geyser and poured down the faces and bodies of the men around. Standing on the other side of the headless body was none other than... I mean, come on, bro. Don't believe in karma? Imagine, like, being in a superstitious? That's not the word. Superstitious time, and actually, like, fucking with the place where someone produces wonder miracle medicine, claiming it was from a god, and you didn't expect bad shit to happen to you is crazy. Hey, a thumbnail. Well, maybe. Probably not. Just an end, though. Grr, grr.
助けて
貴様らが王家を私の王家を
Yep.
死ね貴様らに生きる資格など私が認めない貴様らに生きる権利など私が与えない死ね人間どもよ死ね死ね死ね死ね死ね死ね死ね死ね死ね死ね死ね死ね死ね
Yeah, they're pretty dead. Jesus. Deserved, though. 100%. Literally. Horrible people. Oh, shit. Now that's a background. Or thumbnail, maybe. Boom. When I came to, my surroundings were engulfed in flames. How'd that happen, though? Leaves burned and scattered into black ashes that danced in violent gales of the blazing heat. Flowers turned to charcoal, and where thick foliage once stood, as was now wreathed in crimson hellfire from the lowest depths of hell. And as for the earth, it was mantled with countless rivers of blood, and a sea of unidentifiable corpses, leaving the ground only visible through what faint gaps lay between. I swung my hand, shaking off the blood splatter that manicured my extended claws. And then I turned around to face the three brave, no foolish warriors pointing swords at me, and approached them one step after another to the chorus of my feet rubbing against the gravel. Oh, this is the feudal lord's army. The men in front of me slowly backed away in rhythm with my own steps, their swords and bodies shaking. They probably assumed I chased them and cut them down if they turned their backs to me. It was quite admirable. They were shedding large drops of sweat, clearly not induced by the immense heat, yet still focused their fearful gazes on me. It surely would have been effective if I were a bear or a beast, but I was no beast, and like the god they spoke of every day, I held little mercy. I closed the distance between us in the blink of an eye, thrust my claws at the three soldiers, and skewered each and every one of them without hesitation. One in the throat, and one in the opposite, and the one opposite of him in the heart. The final one, a man who had taken a mere 2 steps back further than his companions, instinctively tried to turn around, but I seized that moment to pierce his medulla oblongata down to the base of my fingers. The 3 of them fell to the ground and stopped moving without another word. My hands were already sticky with blood, dulling the sharpness of my claws when I mowed them down. Still, these slender claws were sharper than any weapon they possessed, meaning I could easily penetrate their fragile skin virtually effortlessly. Oh, that's new. Holy. I tried to remember how much of my prey remained as I caught my breath, but I soon realized it was futile and gave it up. In the several hours since this began, I could remember I killed at least 5 commanding officers, the leader of which I had defeated with little effort just a few minutes ago. It was only natural to scramble to flee after losing your commander, but the majority of the forces they sent were currently in retreat, leaving only a few stragglers in this area. There's no need to seek further prey now that the enemy had lost their will to fight, and once their numbers piled up again, their doom was sealed. Suddenly, a large tree near me started creaking from the roots and leaning before, eventually falling to the ground with a loud crash. I gave it a blank look of no interest, then made my way through the thicket to arrive at a high ground that served as a good vantage point. The moonlit village was speckled with the flickering of torchlights. Just a short while ago, they had displayed unbroken unity and coordination, as well as vast numbers, until they came here. But now there were less than half of the torches I saw earlier, grouped up awkwardly here and there with no conformity. Pitiful. I looked down upon the pandemonium scornfully, my heart cold enough to give me even shivers. They brought this on themselves with their curiosity. God smote them. Smote? Past tense of smite? I didn't even know. I thought it was smited. Never heard of smote. Them with divine punishment for their overabundant greed and pride. Indeed, right now, at this very instant, I was their god. Fire. Everything was burning, swallowed by flames that could reach the heavens. I witnessed the crimson lotuses from hell blossoming, and those who desperately fled from its menace. I heard screams and sobs, as well as the roar of homes and storehouses collapsing to the flames. The creatures of this world particularly feared fire. That was proof their cultural and intelligence level was very immature. Since I'd gone down to the settlement, I expected someone brave or foolish wielding a sword or something to face me. However, it seemed they were prioritizing their own protection above all else, and thus were in no state of mind to be doing otherwise. Suddenly, my eyes turned toward the shadow of a building. A mother, most likely late in evacuating, was carrying her small daughter and shivering as she looked at me. Her eyes swayed with fear and hatred? But was it because they were weak that they failed to understand that hatred alone was not enough to take on a foe? Yes, the weak should know their place. They should reflect long and hard about their own foolishness, and allowing themselves to ruthlessly hurt their fellow man out of desire for things beyond their reach, and whether they can be forgiven. And how the world after death you all speak of. Really? Killing the mother and her small child is crazy. Hanyu has lost the plot. They broke her. It's unfortunate, but also kind of understandable why she's mentally broken. Having mostly cleared away the stragglers, I leisurely walked straight down a path. Ah, I could hear something. Voices were approaching. The noisy sounds were gradually replaced by human voices. Their words were all likely those of grief, fear, desperation, and despair. I didn't need to bother straining my ears to hear them anymore. It was only natural they'd be like that when their only escape route, the bridge connecting Onidafuchi village to the adjacent village, had collapsed. The more they thought they were saved, the greater their despair when they were driven to death. I wondered what kind of faces they were making when faced with the deep ravine. When I thought that, something like rapture seethed in my heart, and I smiled bitterly.
結局私は鬼か。
I thought I'd abandoned all my emotions. Yet my blood raged in desire of prey. No matter how much I tried to smooth things over, no one would believe me when they saw my claws and fangs suited for battle. Not even Oka, surely. I felt a little lonely when I thought that. Even so, this was the only path I had left. That's right, I'm sure Ota will understand. She should understand. I suddenly stood up and strained my ears. The screams had gotten a lot quieter. I could hear miserable sobs in their place. Have they finally given up? No, they're probably still offering prayers that will never be answered, desperately wanting to cling to something. So be it. I'll hear you out. I am Oyashiro-sama, the supreme god you ignorant, cowardly, insignificant lowlifes worship. Now pray and repent. For your conceited actions, your foolish thoughts, do so, and I will at least begin granting death to those who fervently pray for as little pain as possible. Though there shall be no respite from your pain. He 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 he. Now then, the festival is almost over. What death shall I grant to those huddled and trembling in fear? Just as I thought that and smirked while licking my lips, a human presence stopped behind me. I sensed bloodlust. No, that's not what this pure sensation was. Assuming it was one of the soldiers from the hunt, I turned around. I had only halfway turned my body. Oh. Okay. I was frozen. I couldn't move.
おうか。
Boom! Oh, it's already happening! There's no mistaking it. It was Ota standing there, backed by the flames of the burning village, wearing her tattered and filthy Miko robes. In her right hand, she wielded a dully shining sword.
そうか。怪我は大丈夫なのですか。
Not having expected her to have the strength to make it this far, the first thing I did was inquire about her well-being. However, Ota silently stared straight at me with a cold expression.
おうか。
Before long, Ota's face warped in agony, perhaps from the pain of her wounds, and she fell to her knees. I ran over to her in a hurry as soon as I saw that.
大丈夫ですか。お。
It happened in an instant. I didn't understand what had just occurred. No, that wasn't it. My brain was rejecting the reality before me. Ota swung her blade at me. Blood poured from the cut on my cheek made from the sword's tip. It wasn't a major wound, and it didn't hurt. and yet I felt a cold impact hit my head at full force.
何をあなたの弱点
Ota muttered that as she placed the blade of the sword on her palm, closed her hand, and bathed the tip in her blood. Then, the moment she lifted her head, she swiftly closed the distance and swung. I immediately readied my claws and blocked the blow. But my claws, which should have easily intercepted the sword, broke off like hard candy at the base when they collided, flew into the air and pierced the ground.
同種の血は諸刃の剣体の硬質化を妨げてしまうから
Huh?
だったわよね
What?
ほうかそれはもう一つあなたの体を守る結界も同じこと
I was cleaved diagonally, and I stared as I held my unprotected right shoulder. Lukewarm yet vivid blood gushed out of my wound, and intense pain that threatened to render me unconscious rushed through my whole body. That was right. I remembered. Over 20 years ago, when I suffered an injury outside of a battle with the Griffies. Right after I fought that bear at the swamp and injured my foot on a tree root thanks to a careless step. And the one who helped me back then was the father of the kind person in front of me. And his daughter was wielding a sword and injured me?
どうしてなのですほうか
Ota didn't answer. She just silently stained her sword in blood and closed the distance, as if she spotted an opening. Her brow looked slightly furrowed. I wanted to believe it was her pain surfacing.
ほうかなぜなのですなぜ私に剣をおかしいでしょ変でしょ私は王家のことが大好きだったあなたの願いは何でも聞いてきた無茶なことさえもあなたが危ない目に遭うと分かった時は力になりたいと言った本気で思ったそれなのになぜ人は
Ota quietly readied the sword in both hands, blood still pouring from her palms. I could tell from the aura in her dark eyes she intended to defeat me with her next strike.
人はね鬼と住むことはできないの
Even so,
夢を見たわあなたと私の家族と楽しく過ごす夢娘もきっとあなたのことを大好きになると思った
well, this is definitely going differently than what they were described, because I think they described that Hanyu let her daughter kill her, at least in the main series.
だって
It doesn't really seem voluntary
大好
yet.
きだったから
Yet. Her eyes were faintly, no, clearly blurry with tears. I didn't understand. Why was she looking at me with such sorrow? I have the most fun when I'm with you. You said that. You said that to me with a smile, Oka. So why?
どうしてあなたはあんな奴らをかばうのです奴らはあなたを騙した
True. You know, maybe Hani went a little overboard, but what those
それ
guys
どころ
did.
かつけ込んで
At least the
騙しようと
people
した
who actually attacked Ota. You know, her killing innocents is, you know, pretty fucked up.
それだけ
But
で
fuck those
万
other
死
guys.
生きるに値しないしかも奴らはあなたとあなたの家族を殺されて当然なんだ奴らは私と王家の思いを 時間をめちゃめちゃにして。生きていても益はない最低最悪の生き物だ。いや、生き物と同列に扱うことすらおぞましい。
Still roasting them, bruh. Respect that.
愛を吐き散らかして、この世のありとあらゆるものを食い散らかして蝕むゴミだ。そうでしょ、オーカ。そうよ。でもね、羽生。
Large teardrops spilled forth from Oka's eyes.
私もその最低最悪の生き物なの。ゴミなのです。母様。
She knew? She dealt with me knowing about the circumstances of her birth from the very start?
違う。オーカは私の。違わない。
Eventually, Ota slowly, ever so slowly, looked up and smiled.
そしてこの惨劇を生んだのは紛れもない私。私が母様に無理なお願いをしてしまったから、母様を頼ってしまったから。そんなの。
I rummed out my shaking voice. I wanted to deny it. The happy time I gained in this world, meeting Riku and giving birth to Oka. I couldn't accept that they were linked to this tragedy. By no means could I accept it.
だから裁かれるべきは私。そしてこの村への最悪を守るため、この命を投げ出すのがフルデの家に生まれた者の定め。なんでそうなるのですか、オーカ。
You're wrong. You're wrong, Oka. I feel like that doesn't suit you. You should have had the right to live a happier life.
だから
Oka thrust the tip of the sword out, readied herself, and then...
かかってこい、この化け物。
Welp. Oh, well, Jesus. I was not expecting that to happen this episode. This shit was crazy. Of course, it happens as Mao leaves. It's probably strategic. Who knows what the fuck happened to Shino? Everything's fucked up. Well, live Mao reaction. Realizing her village just got fucking destroyed. Anyways, I guess we'll continue next time. What a fun episode to get back into. I'm actually pretty sad right now. But I'm like, it's just so shocking with how that went down. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm pretty sure they Watanagashi Hanyu in the main arc lore. So is that gonna happen? Cause that's gonna be pretty fucked up. You know, do I think Hanyu was right killing those bandits that literally killed Oka's husband and heavily assaulted Fuka? No, fuck them. They deserve to die. Do I agree with Ota trying to, or not Ota, Hanyu trying to kill every villager just cause? No, obviously not. Do I blame Ota for trying to kill Hanyu to protect the rest of the village? Not necessarily. It's a very complicated situation, huh? My man. I mean, fuck, if they didn't believe in Ota now after she kills Hanyu, elevate her more to godlike statue. They didn't even need to before, but yeah. Anyways, that's it for this episode. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on maybe the finale of this arc? Who knows? But yeah, until then, see you.